Okay, so can you have co-personal representative, multiple people serving as your personal representative, or even multiple people serving as your trustee? So you should remember, personal representative, also known as an executor, means the same thing. That's the person who you would have named in your will, in your last will and testament. That's the person who's going to be in charge of administering your estate, going to probate court, hiring the probate attorney, distributing your assets based on what your will says. A trustee has to do with if you have a trust. So if you've done a revocable living trust or some sort of trust document, you would have named a trustee, and that person, he or she's also going to be in charge of administering your estate, but probate might not be necessary. Now, can you have multiple people do it? The answer is yes. There's, depending, check your state, but in Florida, at least where I practice primarily, it doesn't matter. You could have 2 people. You could probably even have 3 people if you wanted. Either be the personal representative or be the trustee. Really doesn't matter. And a lot of times, those people are the same people. A lot of times, people will choose the same personal representative and the same trustee that have the same person serve in both of those roles. But as a practical matter, do you want to have 2 people, right? And I would say probably it's 60-40 for my clients, who 60% they say no, they just want to have 1 person, 40% say they want to have 2 people, because usually they have 2 kids and they want to have both of their kids be personal representatives. It's probably actually 80-20. And most people don't choose to have co-personal representatives, because I generally advise against it, because what happens is, depending on what the trust says, depending on what the probate rules are and different things like that, what happens if you can't get everybody to agree? And, everyone comes to me and always says, yeah, but my children get along. Well, I can't tell you how many people, that might be true, but I can't tell you how many people stop getting along after parents pass away and now there's money involved. And simple things, things about where mom wants to be buried. Did she want to be cremated? Did she want to have a funeral? Different things like that, where even if mom had it in writing, when you've got co-personal representatives or co-trustee, it can make things very, very difficult. So as a practical matter, I'm generally going to advise against it. There might be a good reason to do it, right? This is not always yes, always no. It really depends on the situation. And your family, it may make sense to have co-personal representatives. But if that's something you're wondering about, if you're wondering, hey, can I have 2 people, or my mom left a will and she said me and my sister are going to be co-personal representative, is that okay? The short answer is yes. There should not be a problem to have 2 personal representatives or 2 trustees. You just want to have that conversation with your attorney, and then have that conversation with the people that you want to name. Make sure that they're okay with it. Some people don't want that responsibility, don't want that role. And if you name them as that, it puts them in a difficult situation. Now, just because you've named somebody doesn't mean that they have to continue serving as, they don't have to accept that responsibility. So we have people all the time who will come to us and say, look, my mom named me as the personal representative. I'm just busy, I don't have time, or this is too difficult for me, I'm still grieving, I just don't want to be involved in this process at all. And they can kind of give up that responsibility, and then there's a kind of a hierarchy of who would get to serve next. But have that conversation with them, see if they're okay with it, and if it makes sense, no issues serving as co-personal representative. So short answer, yes, you can do it, but just have a conversation with the people and with your attorney to make sure that it actually makes sense.